not Finland, but West in terms of USA and the colonizing Europe. I think Finland was not one of those nations, who tried to, conquer others. And that's why you are a happy nation and you are a happy economy as well. Just imagine all those colonizing nations who went around in Asia and Africa are now facing tremors of the same development, be it UK, be it France, be it Portugal, all the nations who were the colonizing nations. So nature has its own revenge and nature has its own laws. Let's really think about these laws. And I'm happy that you are thinking about this. I would just make a mention of entrepreneurship because you're saying entrepreneurship is your theme. India also had great tradition of entrepreneurship, has it also, and CSR. Look at this college and the chairperson of this college, Mrs. Gupta. This was a model of CSR in fact. They created this institution, they created many other institutions and ashrams around. This was their own will. They wanted to share their well-being. Similarly, we have the other great industrialists in India, the Tatas and Birlas, who've also started hospitals, schools, industries, colleges. Now maybe they'll start universities as well with time. And that is by their own CSR money to begin with. And maybe they can run as much. Entrepreneurship was there in every village system. I can share with you one new anecdote. I'm sure the business economics professors and commerce professors may be knowing it. I was in Gujarat and when this Patel agitation was going on, and I asked a friend there who knows the Gujarat scenario better. I said, why these Patels are trying to agitate for reservation? Then she told me that there are two kinds of Patels. And one of the Patels are, of course, a very, very flourishing business community. And the entrepreneurship is in their blood, so much in their blood, that when the child grows into 11th or 10th class, they start thinking about business. And then the whole village comes together, pits in and puts some money together, maybe 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs. The whole village does it. And then they push the boy to USA or UK for business and tell their friends there already who are staying there that so-and-so is coming, you have to take care of him, you have to set up the business and you have to set up this boy there. And as soon as the boy or girl lands there, till now it was more boys, now girls I think will also start going. But boy goes there, they all hold him together, establish him there, but within a year, that 50 lakhs which has gone from the village returns in terms of 1 or 2 crores to the village hundi. And that village is so rich because it comes in multiplier effects. And thus this entrepreneur factory goes on. So that was the tradition. Now government is saying let's have entrepreneurship. Somewhere the model that we adopted at that time, the kind of socialist model which was not socialist also, a mixed model, but in mixed model, what we started doing was we were controlling business. We were restraining business. So business also started hiding its strength. The money was black. It was not coming to the state, money was there. That's how we sustained this financial crisis which the whole world faced, because the money was not with the government, it was much more with the people in terms of their jewelry, in terms of their land, in terms of whichever model they could, instead of, money which would go to the state. But that also created problems of taxation. And sustainable development from the state side cannot come without the state also having capital. These are all linked issues. I think we have to critically relook at the business model that we were having. We must also critically relook at the education model that we are having. Because if after 30 years of education, we tell the child that you have to innovate, this innovation should have been in the minds. This innovation should have come out of the knowledge. If the knowledge was creative, it would have come. But we killed creativity in terms of giving the child information, and information for degrees, in fact. So that model also needs to change, and entrepreneurship, which is now coming and being sustained by the state, has to be a mixture of state, society, community, and an inherent skill which comes into individual beings. I wish you look into these aspects and look at these critical concerns which the world faces, which the human society faces, and which all the nations face. Because if we want to live happily, it has to be a happy planet. If we want to live in peaceful conditions, again it has to be a peaceful but equity-based development for the whole world. And it is in this context that this winter school becomes very important and crucial for Government of India also, for the higher education scenario in India, where we are pushing the colleges and universities to fend for themselves. I really hope and wish that something very fruitful comes out from this winter school and from the international conference, which can lead the world to a better vision and a better future. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope there will be very important directions coming from this school. Once again, thank you very much, Mrs. Gupta, Dr. Kar, for inviting me here and giving me this great insights into our winter school. Thank you.
For such an informative lecture, you discussed about various aspects of global warming and very intelligently linked it with the topic of spirituality. And you have discussed about Advaitvad, Vasudha Kutumbakam. We are very thankful to you, ma'am, for such an informative and such an intelligent lecture. Thank you very much, ma'am. I also want to inform you that tomorrow we will be having the visit of Ambassador of Finland. Monday, day after tomorrow, Ambassador of Finland will be visiting us. That will be a great opportunity for us. Please give a big hand for this achievement of our college. Now I invite Bharat Bhushan ji to give a vote of thanks.
I, Dr. Bharatkar, find it a moment of pride to extend the word of thanks for first international winter school organized by SLC in collaboration with Turku University of Applied Sciences, Southeastern Finland University of Applied Sciences, and Pori School of Economics, University of Turku. The winter school is the realization of a dream that was seen and nurtured by our principal, Dr. Ravi Narayan Kar. Our chairperson, governing body, Mrs. Savita Gupta, always extends her supportive hand to the college in all our endeavors. She is always a source of positive vibes for us. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being with us and for gracing this occasion with your presence despite your extremely busy schedule. I, on behalf of the SLC family, heartily thank Professor Sushma Yadav, member UGC, and a renowned professor of public policy and governance. Ma'am, I must say that I was smitten by your generosity and erudite. Your presence has really encouraged us and boosted our morale. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being here. I would also like to thank Professor V.K. Kaul, Dean and Head, Department of Business Studies, Delhi University, and Dr. P. Sen Gupta, Director, MMTC, for being with us. Thank you very much, sir. This winter school may have been the vision of our principal, but it could not have seen this grandeur and elevation if not supported by our guests from Finland, Professor Kaisa Sorsa, Professor Arelin Lindman, Professor Tele Tolminen, Professor Haley Soderland, and Professor Joachim Ramstrom. We are really thankful to these distinguished professors and students who traveled all the way to SLC to contribute to this winter school. We are also thankful to Mr. Dhirendra Pradhan, the Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, who very kindly consented to be our guest, but because of his very busy schedule, he is unable to come. Still, we acknowledge his wishes with us. We are also thankful to Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship for their support. We are also thankful to our guest, Mr. Ankush Chavda from NSDC, where he is heading corporate communications. We are also thankful to Dr. Praveen Kumar, Principal Shamal College Evening. He is always there with us in our events. We thank ICSSR for their support to us. We are also thankful to MMTC, Majas India, Central Bank of India, Delhi Metro, and all our sponsors. These are the organizations that SLC has built a long-run rapport with, and these organizations have always been blessing us with their support. We are thankful to our friends from media who are always there to spread the word about the good work that is being done by Shamlal College. Discipline and proper law and order are the basic ingredients of success of any event. For this, the support of Delhi Police can hardly be overemphasized. We thank DCP Ma'am Nupur Prasad and SHO Shahadra Mr. Yuzveer Singh, who have really taken a proactive interest in our events. Now it's time for me to thank SLC family members. We thank our principal, Dr. Ravi Narayan Kar, who has always been making continuous, untiring efforts for promoting the brand SLC. We are proud to have you as the head of SLC family, sir, and on behalf of the SLC family, I wish to assure you that we are with you on every step of this momentous journey. This event would be a success only because of the contribution of teaching and non-teaching members of staff who have worked day in and day out to make this winter school a possibility and hopefully a success. Lastly, but probably most importantly, come our student volunteers who have displayed commendable zeal, enthusiasm and discipline towards making this event a success. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you very much.
Since we are running short of time, I request Dr. Kavita Aruna to come here.
Thank you, sir.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. With the winter school having been formally inaugurated, it is time for the working session of our workshop. The topic of the present session is Power to Empower, How Entrepreneurship Development Aids Institution and Society. And we truly have some authorities on the topic to enlighten us. The distinguished speakers for the session are Dr. Joachim Ramstone, University of Turku, Finland, Professor Eri Lundman, Southeastern Finland University of Applied Sciences, Finland, Mr. Tapas Sen Gupta, Director MMTC, Professor V.K. Kaul, Dean and Head, Department of Business Economics, University of Delhi. We heartily welcome all the distinguished speakers. I request all of you to please welcome them with a big round of applause. Please be seated on the dais. Professor Eri, Mr. Tapas Sen Gupta and Professor V.K. Kaul sir to please take their seats on the dais. Big round of applause for them, please. Been introduced in the last session. I take this opportunity of introducing Mr. Tapas Sen Gupta and Professor V.K. Kaul. Mr. Tapas Sen Gupta, Director MMTC, has 31 years experience in various sales and marketing roles in MMTC Limited. He has visited several countries in trade delegations to negotiate business and attend conferences. He has presented several papers in international conferences on subjects of marketing, logistics, shipping, etc. related to international business. He has managed MMTC's wholly owned subsidiary, MMTC Trans Transnational Private Limited, Singapore, for 4 years as Managing Director of the company and successfully led the company in international business in Southeast Asia. Currently, he is heading Human Resource and Legal Departments of MMTC as whole-time Director in the Board of MMTC. I request IQAC Chairperson, Dr. Alka Sharma, to please welcome Mr. Tapas Sen Gupta. Big round of applause, please.
हाँ जी मैम सामने हाँ जी मैम थैंक यू सो मच
Professor V.K. Kaul, Head, Department of Business Economics, University of Delhi, has a specialization in the area of public policy and business transformation of enterprises, knowledge economy in global context, firms and institutions, strategic challenges and implementations, small enterprises and clusters. He has several publications to his credit and has presented his research in many international and national conferences. He is the recipient of many honors and awards. He has received G20 Korean Global Leadership Fellowship sponsored by Government of South Korea and Korean Development Institute, Seoul, South Korea. He has been a partner in European Union project bridging the gap between Europe and India's nanotechnology knowledge bases towards an understanding of innovative support structures, training programs and policies of European Commission. He has also participated in Indian fellowship called Development Studies Fellowship awarded by Shastri Indo-Canadian Institute, Canada for research project Emerging Knowledge-Based Economy, Canadian Competitiveness and Strategic Response of High-Tech Firms and Empirical Investigation. Affiliated to Center for International Business and Center for Professional Services, Firm Management, Faculty of Business, University of Alberta, and many more. He has supervised 16 PhD students and 20 MPhil students of Delhi University. Presently, he is the Dean of Applied Social Sciences and Humanities, University of Delhi, Head, Department of Business Economics, University of Delhi, Treasurer and member of Governing Body of College of Vocational Studies and Acharya Narendra Dev College. I request Dr. Ashu Gupta to please welcome Professor Kaul by presenting him a memento and a bouquet. Big round of applause, please.
हाँ जी मैम
As speakers lined up, it would be unwise of me to use up any more time. So straight away, I hand you over to the chair, Dr. Joachim Ramstorm.
Us is still morning. It would be, I think, in the middle of the night back home. But anyway, we have 3 persons giving short speeches. I've given them 10 minutes. If they're not going to notice my hand signals, you can also give the hand signals after about 10 minutes. But would you like to start? Who would like to start? Do you have any preferences? So then Mr. Sengupta, if you would start, please.
Very good morning and also good afternoon. I'm really honored to be here for the second time in SLC's workshop, and of course this is winter school and a lot of students. I'm really thankful to Professor Kar also for inviting me. Respected chairperson and fellow panelists. The presentation which I will be making is on entrepreneurship in emerging economies in India's context. First of all, I would like to share my views on role of entrepreneurs in economic development. What does an entrepreneur does? we of course know what entrepreneurship is. An entrepreneur adds to the national income of the country. Entrepreneurial ventures generate new wealth. Existing businesses may remain confined to the scope of existing markets and may hit the glass ceilings in terms of income. New and improved products, services, or technology from entrepreneurs enable new markets to be developed and new wealth to be created. Additionally, increased employment and higher earnings contribute to better national income in the form of higher tax revenue and higher government spending. So the revenue can be used by the government to invest in other struggling sectors and in human capital. Entrepreneurs create social change. How does they do? Through their unique offerings of new goods and services, entrepreneurs break away from the tradition and indirectly support freedom by reducing dependence on obsolete systems and technologies. This results in an improved quality of life, greater moral and economic freedom. Let's take one example. Water supply in a water-scarce region will at times force people to stop work for collecting water. This will impact their business, productivity, and income. Imagine an innovative, automatic, low-cost, flow-based pump that can fill people's water containers automatically. And what it results? This type of innovation ensures people are able to focus on their jobs without worrying about a basic necessity like water. More time to devote to work translates to economic growth. And for a contemporary example, I can cite the example of smartphones and apps which have revolutionized the work and play across the globe. Smartphones are not exclusive to wealthy countries or people either. As the growth of China's smartphones markets and its smartphone industry soars, technological entrepreneurship will have a profound and long-lasting impact on entire human face. Look what entrepreneurs are doing to the community development. Entrepreneurs regularly nurture entrepreneurial ventures by other like-minded individuals. They also invest in community projects and provide financial support to local charities. This enables further development beyond their own ventures. Some famous entrepreneurs like Bill Gates have used their money to finance good causes from education to public health. The qualities that make one entrepreneur are the same qualities that motivate entrepreneurs to pay it forward for development of the society, what we call CSR and all. And finally, an entrepreneur creates jobs. Entrepreneurs are by nature and definition job creators, and they are not job seekers. This simple translation is when you become an entrepreneur, there is one less job seeker in the economy. And then you provide employment for multiple other job seekers. So this kind of job creation by new and existing business is again one of the basic goals of economic development. And finally, the entrepreneurs, they are definitely sustaining the exports. Any growing businesses will eventually want to get started with exports to expand their business to foreign markets. This is an important ingredient of economic development since it provides access to bigger markets and leads to currency inflows, access to the latest cutting-edge technologies and processes being used in more developed foreign markets. Coming back to the Indian context, we all know that India is a key nation among emerging global economies, but it produces too few entrepreneurs despite being at the advanced stage of economic development in comparison with many other emerging economies. Its large demographic dividend, with over 12 million people joining labor force every year, which is more than the entire population of Sweden, needs to be better utilized to fast forward the pace of development of the country. With nearly 65% of India's population in less than 35 years of age group, encouraging entrepreneurship is an immediate necessity because government and corporate jobs cannot gainfully employ such a large workforce. It is also an established fact that there is a strong link between new startups and subsequent job growth as seen at the beginning of industrial revolution in the West and more recently in the economies such as China. In India, the spirit of entrepreneurship seen in Punjab is a good example which has made it the highest per capita income state in India. Taking India as a whole, the pace of creation of new businesses and new startups has been very slow compared to the rest of the world. A slow pace of entrepreneurship is a key factor in the slow pace of job creation, and this hurdle needs to be overcome at the earliest if India has to become one of the fastest growing major economies in the world. The entrepreneurship to grow, there is an urgent need for the supporting industrial infrastructure such as roads, railways, ports, etc., which must be set up at the fast pace. Government of India has come out with many schemes to encourage for setting up of the small and medium scale enterprises. The Make in India, the Start of India and Skill India initiatives of the present governments are steps in that direction. The two most necessary policy factors that facilitate entrepreneurship are the education levels and quality of the local physical infrastructure. And these patterns are true to both manufacturing as well as services industry. Good physical infrastructure is essential for supporting entrepreneurship, economic growth and job creation. Goods and services cannot be produced, jobs created without access to roads, electricity, telecommunication, water, education and health. The technology-enabled solutions supported by a stronger foundation of digital literacy will go a long way in putting future jobs on a stronger footing. India's strength in entrepreneurship lies in its small enterprises, and these should be encouraged to be well integrated with global supply chains. The emerging economies of Asia, Africa and Latin America needs to learn from each other's experience and also cooperate among themselves to improve the national income levels and also distribution of wealth uniformly. Further, women-headed entrepreneurship initiatives will become the new driver of job growth in future, besides making the process of economic upliftment. I will conclude my presentation with a quote: "The critical ingredient is getting off your butt and doing something." This is for entrepreneurship. A lot of people have ideas, but there are few who decide to do something about them, and not tomorrow, not the next week, not today. It has to be right at this time. The true entrepreneurship is not a dreamer, but a doer, unquote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sengupta, for sharing your insights. And I wanted to pick up on one thing. You talked about the anguish of not having enough entrepreneurs. And I think in Finland we have had the same kind of anguish that we do not really have enough entrepreneurs. And I think that's one interesting field of study and learning, that what are the factors leading people to get off their butts
Yes.
and to become entrepreneurs. And I think we have a long way to go still to understanding that. How do we create this Malcolm Gladwell's tipping point where we really get more entrepreneurs? So we have a lot of in common with India and Finland as well on that point. So, Mr. Kaul, are you ready to take that?
They're presenting from Finland now.
All right, let's take Ari.
Okay, good afternoon everybody, and thank you again that I can be here. It's a very honorable position, and I really cherish this opportunity to be with the SLC family and also to hear all the honorary guests' great speeches here earlier. And I'm really happy that you went first, Mrs. Sengupta, and sort of introduced that what is entrepreneur, and also with some practical, examples about that and from India, so that gives a good starting point for my small talk. The title, Power to Empower, How Entrepreneurship Development Aids Institution and Society, and this was like given to me or us, and it's in a way challenging and big question, and from two perspectives I started that. First of all, in a way, it's a good question for me to think really that really how does it aid or how does it improve or how does it help institutions, especially educational institutions and society in general, because I have been involved in promoting entrepreneurship within and around our university for, let's say, more or less 10 years, 12 years. So does it make any sense? Why do we do well? And like you also asked now that, okay, is it a problem that we don't have enough entrepreneurs? Sometimes I do think that it's not a problem. I mean, there are some, we might have just about right number of entrepreneurs. We just have to make these current companies and entrepreneurs work more efficiently and more skillfully and in the global scene. So that's just one idea that, for instance, Greece has a lot of entrepreneurs, but it's still, I mean, on the bottom of the pyramid or it's not doing very well. So that's also a problematic. But anyway, so this makes one question, what I am doing and is it any good? The other thing is, of course, when also earlier, last 2 times here last year, knowing that there will be this kind of conference or seminar or event, that okay, what would be the appropriate lesson that I want to convey to the audience, which I'm not sure whether there are some people from Pori or Turku or from other parts of the world or India. So not knowing exactly that what would be the suitable message. But like you earlier, I would start with